Hello friends! I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far or night wherever you are, and thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today. I am going to be sharing with you guys how to achieve the perfect drugstore smoky eye, and I'm very excited to share with you guys some of the tips and tricks that have made to achieve a really nice blended smoky eye a lot easier. I know that there's a lot of people who are very intimidated by smoky eye, and I promise you guys that I'm going to share with you guys some tips that are going to make it a hell of a lot easier. This video is sponsored. It is sponsored by Kiss NY Pro. I am super excited to be using some of their new products in today's video that just launched September 15th, as well as some of their old goodies. And so let's get to it. Because we're doing a smoky eye, I'm going to hold off on the face makeup and just start with the eye makeup first. And that way, if we have any fallout, it's not going to ruin the face makeup and we're going to have to start again. I'm going to be using two different palettes from Kiss NY Pro today. Both are called the Goddess palettes, and I'm not sure if there's like names to differentiate between the two because they are two totally different palettes. I looked on the back and one looks to be like Demeter and then the other one is Celine. So I'm not sure if those are like the names of the palettes. We're going to combine the two to create like a really beautiful smoky eye. To kick this off, I'm going to start with this more warm tone palette, and we are going to use the cream shade just to set the base. When it comes to achieving a beautiful smoky eye and a really nice blend, it's so important to take a little bit of extra time just to prime your eyelids and then set them with a nice nude eyeshadow. This is going to help when we go in with the darker shadows from them picking up any texture or any inconsistencies in the skin on your eyes. I have quite a few like blotchy areas on my eyelids, and so when it comes to like doing deeper eyeshadow looks, I really need to pay attention to prime my eyelids because otherwise I'm coming out with really choppy eyeshadow and it just doesn't blend as nicely as it should. Because both palettes have deeper shades in them and nothing that's going to work really well as a good transition and a good start to the base, I'm going to go in using this is the Kiss NY Pro Contour Kit in Light, and I'm going to use the contour shade in this palette as my transition. Now I'm going to go back and forth with that product a few times because I really want that beautiful blown out smoky eye look, and so I want the transition to be a little bit deeper than it is upon first application, and so I'm going to go back and forth probably 3 or 4 times and just build it up. Now I'm going to use this more cool tone like deep brown, and we're going to go in with a smaller brush and we're going to start to pack on the color and just build up that like smokiness above the crease. We want to keep it fairly low in the crease, and then that way it gives us some room to blend it into the transition. For the perfect smoky eye, you want to slowly build it up. You don't want to go in with too much product right off the bat, otherwise you're going to have a hard time blending it out properly, and so building up is key. You want to make sure that you're just taking a little bit of product, building it up, and then blending, and then going back in and building it up some more. Sometimes the smoky eye can close off the eye and make them look a little bit beady, and so what I like to do is I just take that deeper shade and I'm just gonna take it out a little bit further on that outer corner and kind of create like a little bit of a winged look, and it's just gonna help to give it this really like glamorous, like blown out feel. If you're having any issues with blending, just remember that you can go back in with that transition shade and just kind of buff it over top of any of the harsh lines that you're seeing, and it sometimes will help to buff those out completely. If it doesn't buff them out completely, it's definitely going to diminish the look of them and really help it to flow a little bit better. Now I'm going to switch up my palettes and I'm going to use this other one and use this really deep, it's like a very taupey vibe to it, but it's a very cool tone brown kind of looking shade, and I'm going to use that to deepen up the crease as well as to darken up the eyelid. I'm sure a lot of you can imagine, but if you go higher with this darker shade above the crease, then you're gonna have an issue of blending it out and you're ultimately going to end up with 2 black eyes. Once you have less product on your brush, you can then go back in with that brush and just kind of lightly and very gently blend in that deeper shade with your transition in the crease, and this way everything's gonna blend really beautifully in the end. You wanna make sure that you're going in with a liner prior to applying your falsies. If you're not going to be applying falsies, you just go in with some mascara and you can call it a day. However, if you are going to be applying false lashes, I highly recommend that you use a liner prior to applying them. That way that everything kind of flows a lot nicer and everything kind of keeps its depth. So with that said, before I apply my falsies, I'm going to be using the Kiss NY Pro. This is the long tip ink eyeliner in Blackest Black, and I'm just going to apply that to my top lash line, and then we're going to go in with the falsies. For my lashes, I'm using the Kiss Lash Couture Triple Push-Up Collection in style Bustier. The glue I'm going to use to apply them is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with Aloe. Now these lashes have a really nice thick band, and so they're going to help to add that depth to the lash line. However, it can make for a little bit more challenging in terms of application. If you guys want to see a video on how I apply my falsies, I will leave it linked down below just in case. I will just say that having a thicker lash band definitely adds some challenges. Now that my lashes are applied, I'm going to use the Kiss NY Pro Dead Sexy Lashes Mascara, and this is in the shade Black. You want to make sure to give these lashes a really nice coat, and then that way everything's going to be nice and dark. You don't want to bring the mascara up too high onto your false lashes because it can make them look a little bit more false, but you do want to make sure that that base of your lash line is really nice and dark. For the face, we're going to be using some new products from Kiss NY Pro. They just launched September 15th, and so I haven't had a whole lot of chance to play around with them, but you and I are going to test them out together. I'm going to use this new primer called the Pro Touch Gold Primer. It's a radiance primer. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my fingertips and press that into the face. I'm just gonna push that into those pores. It feels a little bit greasy on my skin. I'll be curious to see if that dissipates as I press it into the skin and let it kind of absorb. It might be a really nice primer for someone with more of dry skin, whereas I'm a little bit more oily in my T-zone, so I'll be curious to see how this holds up. For my foundation, I'm gonna use this new one from Kiss NY Pro. This is the Pro Touch Drop Foundation, and I'm using the shade Classic Ivory. All right, so this has a little dropper, and I'm just gonna kind of drop that across my cheeks, and then we're gonna go in and try and blend it out before it drops on my body. Okay, so we've got our foundation brush. I'm just gonna push that into the skin. Oh, this has some pretty nice coverage. Oh no, I got it on my lash. And go easy around those eyes, people. You don't want to ruin all of that blending out that you did on that outer corner. And so just keep this fairly low. I haven't had an opportunity to actually wear this all day, but I'm gonna keep this makeup on for the rest of the night and kind of drink some wine and feel fancy. And so I will keep this on for the rest of the night, whoops, and just keep you guys posted on how it wears. I'm now gonna go in with my concealer, and for my concealer, I'm gonna use, this is the Kiss Pro Touch Dark Under Eye Concealer. It's got buildable coverage, and so I'm very intrigued about this. I'm using shade Porcelain, which typically would be too light for me, but this actually looks like it might work. And so I'm just going to take a couple little dots of it across the tops of my cheeks and underneath my eyes. When you're using a new concealer, you never know quite how it's going to dry down and how quickly. And so you want to kind of move fast, just in case it's one of those concealers that dries really, really fast. Okay, so I'm now going to twist up a little bit more product, and then I'm going to take it and just apply that to the other parts of my face, just to highlight it a little bit more in the center and balance it out. I've got to be careful not to blend out those brows. Now that that concealer is applied, I want to go in and I want to set the center of my face, especially because we added that primer, and which kind of added a little bit of extra moisture to our skin, which looks really beautiful on the other areas of my skin, but I'm a little nervous about it breaking up the center of my face. And so I'm going to use the Kiss Contour Kit, and I'm just going to use this light shade in the center, and I'm going to use this to set the center of my face. You want to make sure to really set under those eyes, so then when we go in to smoke out that lower lash line, we're not having any creasing or any buildup of product. Before I go in with my contour, I want to do a little bit of highlighting, and so I'm going to use the Kiss NY Pro. This is the Halo Strobing Palette. I'm going to use kind of a combination of a few shades. I'm going to use these first two shades here, and I'm just going to combine them to make my perfect shade, and I'm going to apply that to the tops of my cheeks and the center of my face. So now I'm going to go in and contour and kind of bronze it up a little, and so for that I'm going to use the contour shade out of the Kiss Contour Kit, and we're just going to kind of dust that in the cheekbones, on the forehead, and just really give the face some structure. I'm not going to go in with any blush because I want to keep it just like that bronzy smoky vibe. And so we're just going to go in with that contour kit once again and use the contour shade just to add a transition underneath the lash line. And when it comes to adding the transition, don't get nervous to get a little smoky with it. You don't want to bring it down too far, but you definitely want it down far enough that you have room when you go in with those darker shadows to really smoke it out even more. And so that transition has to come down a little bit further, so then there's going to be room for you to do that. And then you're going to bring it up into that outer corner of the shadow on top. Now that we've got that transition, we can go in with our deeper shades. And so I'm going to use both of those darker eyeshadows that I used on top, and I'm just going to layer them on the bottom. So I'm going to go in with that first shade first, and then we're going to go in and deepen it up with that second shade. And just as the top, you want to go through and just buff out any harsh edges and blend that shade in with the transition. And that way you're gonna get a much nicer blend on that lower lash line. When applying the darkest shade, I'm just gonna use it on the outer corner. I'm not gonna bring it all the way in, because I just want to kind of create that smokiness on the outer corner. If you come too far in with that really deep shade, it's going to add too much smokiness on the inner corner and kind of shut your eyes off. If you keep it on the outer corner, it's really going to help to open up those eyes and make them look a lot bigger. Obsessed! I love it. I love it so much. It looks so pretty. I'm super, super happy with this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how we can really kind of like tweak this look to be a little bit more dramatic or a little less dramatic. And so what I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to take this Kiss, this is the NY Pro Waterproof Wonder Shimmer Eyeliner in dark brown, and I'm going to line the waterline of my one eye and then add some mascara and show you guys how different it looks if we just keep this like waterline free of any product. You guys may be able to notice a little bit of a difference. This eye is going to look a little bit more like open and like alert, and this eye is going to be more of that like sultry, like smoky vibe. And so depending on where like you guys are wearing this smoky eye to, or what your vibe is for the day, you guys can kind of tweak it and make it a little bit more dramatic or a little less dramatic. A lot of the times if I want to wear like a more smoky eye during the day, I will skip adding eyeliner into my waterline, and this will just keep it like a little bit more daytime appropriate and not so like dramatic. For the lips, I'm using the Kiss NY Pro. This is the Amorous Matte Gel Lipstick in Vienna Sienna, and it is a beautiful cool tone nude. I absolutely love this shade. It's really stunning. Oh god, there are people who are like smoking out on their deck across from me, and the like eye contact is like direct, so it feels very uncomfortable, but we're gonna wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I really love how the smoky eye came out. I think it looks really, really beautiful, and I hope you guys gained some tips from watching me apply it, because I know there's so many people that are really nervous to like even try a smoky eye, and if they have tried a smoky eye, a lot of the times people will like keep it really situated on the lid and not really buff it out or blow it out beyond that point. And it's just out of nervousness of it looking like two black eyes and being too much. And I completely understand that fear. However, a lot of times it's going to end up making your eyes look a lot smaller and not be as flattering. And so you guys get wild with it. Just get in there, just blow it out and just have some fun with it. You know, that's the best part about makeup, is it does wash off and you can just keep trying. And there's nothing quite like practice when it comes to a smoky eye that's really going to help for your skills to evolve and for you to get that really nice blend. It's something that doesn't come overnight. It's not an easy thing to do, but the more you practice, the better you'll get. And so don't give up, you guys. And if you've tried a smoky eye and you didn't like it on yourself, I really highly recommend that you guys try it with these tips, and let me know down in the comments below if it helps you guys out. As always, I'll leave any notes that I have about the makeup used in today's tutorial down below, and I'll keep you guys posted on how well everything wears. As of right now, everything looks really, really beautiful, and I'm very intrigued to see how it wears for the rest of the night. I will leave any notes I have about that down below as well. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today, you guys. I really appreciate it. Give this a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one.